once I graduated in May, I stayed for the summer and I returned back to Kenya in September.
Okay. And was it difficult getting a role as a pilot in Kenya when you came back?
Oh, it was difficult.
So tell me a
Let's
little bit about
start
that.
by the conversion
Right.
of my license. It was a nightmare. So came back home September, as I said. I think I got everything March of the next year. So yes, to be able just
6
to convert
months.
from FAA to CPL, Kenyan license. So finished that. I'm with a Kenyan license, knowing I'm going to get a job. So here I am. Kenya Airways was not employing, hiring at that time. So I go to Wilson Airport, and I didn't know how big Wilson was. I learned it that time when I was just taking my CV everywhere. And we still had the war in South Sudan. So there's a lot of relief food being taken. And Lokichogio Airport was very, very active. So most operators had their operations based out of Loki.
Okay.
And they were a bit hesitant taking women. And I understand why.
Yeah.
Not because I was chauvinist or anything, but at that point in my life, I think I was 52 kilos. I was so tiny. And food stuff, yes, they'll be loaded when you go out of Loki. But when you land wherever you're landing, you'll have to remove the food stuff yourself.
Right.
And one gunia is 50 kilos.
50 kilos, so you'd have to
So I
carry
only have
body
2
weight.
kilos to play around with.
Yeah.
So I understand why. So it was very, very difficult to get a job.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, was this done under the auspices of the World Food Program and the UN, or was it more private enterprise and other charities?
No, so the UN was giving now the Kenyan operators
Right, so
the
chartering
work
them
to do. So
to do the
chartering,
work.
yes,
Okay.
to do the work, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the first company that you managed to get an opportunity with was that Transworld?
Yes.
Okay. How did that come about, or was it through just grit of moving up and down Wilson Airport?
No, actually, yes. I think the chief pilot, I don't want to say he got fed up of seeing us, or maybe he just felt sorry for us. So when I finished one of the, I don't know what it was, what exam I went to do in KCA. We used to do our exams at IASA, the school, East African School of Aviation. So finished that exam, I think it was at TTR. I go to Wilson just because he told me come see me on a Friday. So I go on a Friday. And then when I get there, the secretary tells me there's already someone else inside. So when the person comes out, we had actually done the exam together. So that was very interesting. So we had met at East African School of Aviation. So when I go in, the chief pilot says, okay, between you and the other lady who's just left here, I like both of you, but I have one position to be a safety pilot, because that particular aircraft was a King Air, and we know a King Air is a one-man crew. But because even them, they had a UN contract, they needed to have 2 pilots, in the cockpit. So they needed a safety pilot.
Okay.
So he said, discuss the 2 of you, then see who will get the job, or you can share. So we said, fine. Since both of us were at home not doing anything, we decided to share the work. So we used to work Tuesday to I think Saturday. So we're working 2 days. I mean, that's how we're sharing, and we share the salary.
Okay.
But for us, and I'm grateful for that, because I learned more about the Kenyan airspace, because we used to fly to Dadaab and to Kakuma.
Okay.
And just, to be familiar with radio telephony and things like that, yes. So I did that for, I don't know how many months now, it's been a while, before they lost the contract.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right. And when they lost the contract, do you continue with them, or is that when you moved on to Aero Kenya?
So when they lost their contract, I think I stayed home for maybe a month or 2. So Aero Kenya was a new operator who had just started. So we are the ones who opened the route between Nairobi to Eldoret.
Okay.
So yeah, so I can say that was my first real job, in quotes, because at least I earned money as a first officer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what aircraft were you flying at that time?
Alet 410.
Yeah.
It's a Russian make. Yeah, it seats 19 passengers.
19 passengers.
Yes.
I'm very, like you, I'm an aviation enthusiast, and I'm always fascinated the weight and balance of the smaller aircraft. You know how before you board, they'll be telling you, the pilot is like, okay, how much do you weigh? Can you sit on that side? And did you have to do any of that?
No, the Let 410 is actually a very sturdy aircraft. I used to describe it as a short, fat woman.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, the back of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Okay.
wasn't like the Caravan where it's a bit high that you even have to put
Yeah, so
the
different
tail
center
part.
of
Yes.
gravity,
Yeah.
and okay, that's good to hear.
Yes.
Then is this when you joined Kenya Airways?
Yes.
After how long were you with Aero Kenya first before you left?
I want to say I was in Aero Kenya shy of 1 year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then KQ came knocking.
Finally, KQ. Finally.
Yeah.
KQ started hiring.
Okay.
So we went through the process of, just the usual thing, the interviews, psychometry. The other one was called aptitude. You do it in the military. Then the flight test.
Okay.
Yes.
And this was not an ab initio program. This was straight to type courses and first off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what aircraft did you start on?
On the Boeing 737.
On the 737. Oh, so this was before the Embraers had
Oh,
come
way
in.
before.
Way before. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to us about that. Excuse me. That experience of having worked on small general aviation aircraft to now coming to work on a jet, the smaller of the jets, but still a jet with more passengers.
Yes. It was very challenging, very, very challenging. Challenging in terms of everything is new. You have to learn about the operations procedure of the company. You need to learn the aircraft itself. So you have to go through ground school. You come from a place where, because of the CBT, so you have to do all these things yourself,
Yeah.
like the learning, then you do the company exam, then you go for simulator. So now simulator is something, I just saw a simulator once when I was doing my internship in the US
Yeah.
at Transworld Airline.
Yeah.
So was snacking into a 767, but that one is just being shown. We didn't do the motions, we didn't do
Okay.
much. So this one now having to actually come in and start flying. So everything, I mean, the first few days you're just being, it was new, but it was a good journey. So finished, came back to Kenya, now had to do the route training.
Okay. Before route training, you were doing your sim training. Was this at the KLM facilities? Or was it somewhere else that you did this?
No, we did it in Luton, in the
Luton,
US.
right.
Not in the US, sorry, in the UK.
In the UK,
yes.
okay. Okay, and that would have been about 6 weeks of sim training.
Oh, Lord, can I remember now?
Yeah.
I want to say 4 to 5.
4 to 5
yeah,
weeks.
6 would sound a bit long.
A bit long.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe 4.
4.
Yes.
And was this was for a 737 Classic?
737 Classic, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So not the
Not the
full
NG.
not the full digital cockpit.
No,
Okay,
no.
Fair enough.
No, yeah.
Then you came back and you continued with route training.
So I came back, I did the route training. So that time what they were doing in KQ was you start on the Classic. Once you check out, so you move from being a second officer to a first officer, then you fly 100 hours. Then now they convert you to the NG.
And then you can fly both.
And then you can fly both.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I actually remember that time in those aircrafts because I believe we joined KQ around the same time, different capacities. I joined as a graduate trainee and I'd suffered the same 9/11 challenges. This is just before I graduated and not being able to get that. As I recall, that time there was a lot going on in the company. There were newer aircrafts coming. I think the 777s were coming in. There was conversations taking place about the 787s coming in, and there was also conversations taking place about the Embraers, the E170s at that time. How did that impact your time as you're going through the progression and what were your thoughts as you're here operating on one aircraft, but there's change taking place around you?
I think the role of being a pilot in KQ, you're not fully engaged in terms of the new aircrafts when they're purchasing, the politics behind it. I just remember the one for the Embraer, there was a concern which CALPA raised, and they said it's a good aircraft, yes. Fuel efficient, yes. but is it good for Africa? Because Africans are traders. Traders carry a lot of goods. And that, I know they were talking around, that was a conversation that was there then.
Okay.
So on my end, how it didn't affect me much because I still went through the whole progression. I did the 737 from there, I moved to the 767 before it was phased out.
Yeah.
Before moving to the 777.
777.
So I never got a chance to fly the Embraer.
Okay.
Yeah, because now when it was time for me to, just do my command, I just went back to the 73.
To the 737. Okay.